We would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to Sacred Scriptures, your go-to channel for studying the treasure trove of stories and teachings that are contained inside the Holy Scriptures. In today's lesson, we will look into the miraculous life and death of the Virgin Mary, who is considered to be one of the most respected people in the Christian religion. Mary's tale is one of unshakable faith, humility, and divine grace. It begins with her humble beginnings and ends with her vital role in the history of salvation. There have been millions of people throughout history who have revered Mary, but how much do we really know about her life beyond the fact that she was the mother of Jesus Christ during her lifetime? The purpose of this film is to throw light on the less well-known aspects of Mary's trip, such as the profound theological significance of Mary, supernatural apparitions, and the mystery that surrounds her death and assumption. Before we get started, it is essential to point out that the purpose of this film is to explain historical and theological facts about Mary in a manner that is both courteous and objective. Our objective is not to provoke arguments or to insult any particular belief system. Rather, we want to establish a framework that fosters understanding and respect for all individuals, irrespective of their religious beliefs or lack thereof. It would be greatly appreciated if you could take a moment to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your family, friends, and church group. We are going to go on this trip together, which will involve revealing the real story of the Virgin Mary and the profound influence she had on the Christian faith, as depicted in the Christian narrative. Mary is portrayed as a woman who possesses exceptional faith, humility, and obedience, and who was selected by God for a mission that is both unique and divine. On the other hand, there are a great deal of aspects of her life and legacy that are not common knowledge, but are nonetheless fascinating. Mary is a major figure in Christianity. Her supernatural apparitions and her essential position in the narrative of salvation are only two examples of why she is so important. Secret meaning is concealed inside her name, which is of Hebrew origin and is derived from the name Miriam. There is a relationship between the name Mary and the Hebrew word Jmar, which suggests that Mary is connected to the ocean, which is a sign of greatness, vastness, and purity. Because of this relationship, thoughts of revitalization and spirituality come to mind, which is a reflection of Mary's significance in the Christian tradition. Mary is widely recognized as the mother of Jesus, the Son of God, and there is no denying the significant role that she played in the narrative of salvation. She is admired for her holiness and grace, and she is sometimes referred to as the Virgin Mary, someone who is a figure of devotion and virtue. As a result of her function as the mother of Jesus and the fact that she was conceived without a partner, she has become a divine symbol of spiritual motherhood. There are a number of unusual occasions that occur throughout the life of Mary, who was the mother of Jesus. These moments are a reflection of both supernatural intervention and the historical and cultural environment of her time. The announcement that Jesus was conceived by the angel Gabriel, as told in the Gospel of Luke, is considered to be one of the most significant events. This event, which is commonly referred to as the Annunciation, takes place when Gabriel pays a visit to Mary, a young virgin from Nazareth. Gabriel imparts to Mary a message that is both unexpected and divine. Gabriel is said to have appeared to Mary and greeted her with the words, "Ye hail, full of grace, the Lord is with thee." Luke 1 verse 28, according to the version that Luke provides. Mary, who was bewildered and perplexed, listened to the angel's word that she would become pregnant with a boy who would be known as Jesus, the boy of the highest. Gabriel reveals that the Holy Spirit would descend upon her and the might of the highest would overshadow her, which would ultimately result in the conception of Jesus, who would be holy and referred to as the Son of God. In response to this vision, Mary demonstrates a sense of humility and obedience, as she says, "And behold the handmaid of the Lord. Be it unto me according to thy word." Luke 1 verse 38. According to Christian theology, this act of faith and submission by Mary is crucial because it represents her complete trust in the divine plan and her willingness to cooperate with it. The Annunciation is the event that marks the beginning of the fulfillment of the Messianic promise and the beginning of God's direct participation in the history of humanity for the purpose of incarnating His Son. Mary is seen to be the new Eve because of her obedience, which stands in contrast to the disobedience of the original Eve. This has the effect of providing humanity new hope and redemption. Regarding Mary's age at the time of her marriage and the Annunciation, the historical and cultural backdrop of Palestine in the 1st century shows that she was quite young, possibly between the ages of 13 and 15 years old. During that time period, teenage girls were frequently engaged to be married shortly after reaching puberty. This was a common practice in Jewish society about that time. In spite of the fact that Mary's age would appear to be excessive by today's standards, it was a custom that was well established and considered acceptable in her culture. There's also religious significance associated with her youth. Throughout the Gospels and the teachings of the Church, her innocence, which is represented by her virginity and her youth, is frequently emphasized. In addition, the fact that she is still so young highlights the extent of her faith and the bravery she exhibited in accepting such an important part in the divine plan. It is necessary for her to have a spiritual maturity that is beyond her physical age in order to comprehend the potential dangers and assumptions that may arise. It is also possible to have a more comprehensive picture of the function that women play in Jewish society by considering the cultural backdrop of her day. In spite of the restrictions that are placed on women, the narrative of Mary demonstrates how God picks and elevates those who are beneath him and disadvantaged in order to accomplish his objectives. Mary, a young woman from a rural community, is elevated to the status of Mother of God, a title that places her in a position that is both exceptional and celebrated within the Christian tradition. There is yet another crucial chapter that pertains to Mary that takes place during the crucifixion of her son. The scenario is described in the Gospel of John in a way that is both heartfelt and straightforward. Near the cross of Jesus stood his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. John 19 verse 25. Not only does this verse emphasize Mary's presence, but it also emphasizes the solidarity that existed among the women who stood by Jesus till the very end. The depiction of Mary at the foot of the cross is a potent symbol of loyalty and maternal love, and it adds an additional layer of emotional depth to the story of Christ's suffering. The presence of Mary is a witness to the anguish and death of her son, and she takes part in the anguish and suffering that her son endured in a manner that is both intimate and personal. Numerous theologians consider her participation to be an extension of her fiat, which was her affirmation of yes at the Annunciation. Her affirmation reflects her continued cooperation with the divine plan that God has for her. In the same way that Mary accepted the responsibility of becoming the Mother of God with unshakable faith and obedience, she also accepted the agony of watching the sacrifice of her son, exhibiting what it means to have faith that is unwavering even in the most difficult of circumstances. It is common practice to interpret her presence at the foot of the cross as a representation of the Church. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple he loved, he addressed Mary with the words, "Behold thy son," and he addressed the disciple with the words, "Behold thy mother." This is found in John 19 verses 26 to 27. As a result of this act of entrustment, Mary is given to humanity in the capacity of a spiritual mother. This is a moment that carries significant theological importance. In this way, Mary is regarded not only as the mother of Jesus, but also as the mother of all Christians, a duty that she continues to fulfill via her maternal care and intercession. This is the foundation of the Marian doctrine. The crucifixion represents the culmination of the mystery of salvation, and the presence of Mary calls attention to the human as well as the divine aspects of this event. She is not only a witness to the redemption of humanity, but she also takes part in it in a way that is absolutely unique. Her presence at the cross is a quiet testimony to the fact that she consented to the anguish that Christ endured for our redemption. Simeon's prophecy, which promised that a sword would pierce her soul, Luke 2 verse 35, is resonant with this image of Mary suffering alongside Jesus. This prophecy indicates that Mary would undergo suffering as a part of her role in the divine plan. Mary, as the mother of sorrows, became a symbol of compassion and spiritual strength, motivating the faithful to find meaning and hope even in the most difficult events. This shared suffering between mother and son offers a paradigm of faith and resilience for Christians, and it is this shared suffering that serves as a model for Christians. It is interesting to note that Mary of Clopas, who is recorded in the Gospel of John as being present at the foot of Jesus' cross. The passage states that near the cross of Jesus stood his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. John 19 verse 25. The exact meaning of this relationship is still up for debate among academics, despite the fact that this paragraph gives the impression of a highly intimate familial bond. Within the context of Jewish society during that era, the term sister may be used to refer to a wide variety of familial ties, and it did not necessarily refer to a blood sister. A number of academics are of the opinion that Mary of Clopas might be a cousin or another close related of the Virgin Mary. This contention is supported by the fact that it is highly improbable for two sisters to share the same name, which suggests that the term sister ought to be interpreted in a more flexible manner. Luke 24:18 is another passage in which the name Clopas is mentioned. In this passage, Clopas is mentioned as one of the disciples who encountered Jesus on the way to Emmaus after the resurrection. It is not expressly confirmed that there is a connection between this Clopas and the spouse of Mary of Clopas. Hence, there is room for speculation regarding this connection. A number of different ecclesiastical traditions make an effort to shed light on this relationship. There is a widely held belief that Clopas, sometimes known as Cleopa, could be connected with Alphaeus, who is recorded in the Synoptic Gospels as the father of James the Less, who is considered to be one of the apostles. Mary of Clopas would be the mother of James the Less and potentially other brothers of Jesus described in the Gospels. These brothers could be his cousins rather than his blood siblings, if this identification is right. There are also other brothers of Jesus mentioned in the Gospels. Following this conversation, a more in-depth investigation of biblical references will be conducted. Some people believe that James and Joseph, who are referenced in Matthew 13 verse 55, are the sons of Mary of Clopas. This is because the Gospel of Matthew mentions Jesus' brothers, including James and Joseph. In this way, Mary of Clopas and the Virgin Mary would be placed inside the same extended family tree, which would result in the formation of a connection that is both indirect and substantial. After doing an analysis of the biblical allusions, it has been shown that Mary of Clopas, despite being mentioned just briefly, plays a significant part in comprehending the familial network all surrounding Jesus. Being there during pivotal episodes in Jesus' life, like as his crucifixion, she gives the impression of being a character who is both supportive and devoted. This proximity lends credence to the idea that there is a profound and substantial relationship to the family of Jesus, which in turn reinforces the concept of a unified community of religion. While we are discussing the topic of family, it is important to emphasize how the genealogy of Mary and Joseph, who are both descendants of the house of David, became essential components in the narrative of the Bible. The genealogy of Jesus, which is described in length in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, places an emphasis on the significance of the Davidic ancestry, which is regarded as a prerequisite for the arrival of the Messiah that was foretold. Matthew begins his presentation of Jesus' genealogy with Abraham and continues following the line all the way to Joseph, who was Mary's husband. Mary, also known as the Virgin Mary or Mother Mary, holds a significant place in various religious traditions around the world. Her story transcends time and culture, making her a revered figure among Christians, Muslims, and other faiths. Let's delve into the life and significance of Mary, shedding light on why she is considered a pivotal religious figure. Mary's importance can be traced back to the Christian faith, where she is revered as the mother of Jesus Christ, the central figure in Christianity. In Islam, Mary, is also highly esteemed and is the only woman mentioned by name in the Quran. Her purity, devotion, and miraculous conception of Jesus are central themes in both religious traditions, symbolizing hope, faith, and divine intervention. Mary's life is characterized by humility, obedience, and unwavering faith. In the Bible, she plays a crucial role in the birth and upbringing of Jesus, embodying virtues such as compassion, strength, and grace. Her annunciation by the angel Gabriel and the virgin birth are pivotal events that highlight her divine connection and chosen role in salvation history. And contemporary religious practices, Mary continues to serve as a source of inspiration and guidance for millions of believers worldwide. Her example of faith, sacrifice, and maternal love resonates with individuals seeking solace, protection, and intercession. Devotional practices such as the Rosary, Marian pilgrimages, and prayers to Mary reflect the enduring significance of her story in shaping personal spirituality and communal worship. Mary's universal appeal transcends denominational boundaries, uniting believers in reverence and devotion to the Mother of Jesus. Mary's early life offers a fascinating insight into the upbringing of a woman who would later become one of the most revered figures in religious history. Delving into her family background, cultural context, and the events that shaped her character provides a deeper understanding of the woman behind the revered title of the Virgin Mary. Mary was born into a devout Jewish family in the town of Nazareth, a humble village in ancient Israel. Her parents, Joachim and Anne, are traditionally believed to have been righteous and pious individuals who instilled in Mary a deep faith and reverence for God. Growing up in a society steeped in Jewish traditions and customs, Mary would have been immersed in the teachings of the Torah and the practices of her faith from a young age. One of the most significant events in Mary's early life is the Annunciation, where the angel Gabriel appeared to her and announced that she would conceive and give birth to the Son of God. Mary's response, "Let it be done to me according to your word," showcases her unwavering faith and willingness to accept God's plan for her life, despite the challenges and uncertainties it would bring. While there are no specific prophecies or signs directly associated with Mary's birth in the biblical texts, ancient Christian traditions and apocryphal writings often depict her as a chosen vessel, foretold by prophets and surrounded by divine signs from her infancy. The miraculous nature of Mary's conception and her role as the mother of the Messiah are seen as fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies and promises, underscoring her unique and sacred status in religious history. Mary's portrayal in various religious texts, including the Bible, Quran, and other sacred writings, offers a multifaceted view of her significance as a central figure in salvation history. Delving into how different faith traditions depict Mary, the miracles attributed to her, and the theological interpretations of her role sheds light on her enduring legacy as a revered and beloved figure. And the Christian Bible, Mary is prominently featured in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, where her pivotal role as the mother of Jesus and her unwavering faith are highlighted. The Quran, the holy book of Islam, also reveres Mary as a paragon of virtue and piety, emphasizing her miraculous conception of Jesus and her exemplary character. Other sacred texts and apocryphal writings further elaborate on Mary's life, virtues, and divine calling, showcasing her universal appeal across religious traditions. Mary is associated with numerous miracles and events in religious narratives, including the virgin birth of Jesus, the Annunciation by the angel Gabriel, and her role as an intercessor and protector of believers. Stories of Mary's miraculous interventions, such as the wedding at Cana where she asked Jesus to perform his first public miracle, underscore her compassionate nature and divine favor in responding to the needs of others. Theological interpretations of Mary's role vary across denominations and traditions, with some emphasizing her unique status as the Theotokos, Mother of God, and others focusing on her as a model of faith and obedience. Mary's cooperation with God's plan for redemption, her role in the Incarnation, and her presence at key moments in Jesus' life are seen as integral to the unfolding of salvation history, highlighting her pivotal role in the divine drama of human redemption. Mary's virtues and attributes, including her purity, humility, and devotion, have solidified her status as a revered figure in religious traditions worldwide. Examining these qualities not only illuminates the essence of Mary's character, but also provides believers with a timeless example of faith, compassion, and grace to emulate in their own lives. Mary's purity is often symbolized by her immaculate conception and her sinless nature, making her a vessel of divine grace and holiness. Her humility is evident in her acceptance of God's will and her willingness to serve as the handmaid of the Lord, despite the challenges and uncertainties she faced. Mary's unwavering devotion to God, her Son Jesus, and humanity is exemplified through her steadfast faith, sacrificial love, and maternal care for all believers. Mary's virtues as an example for believers. Mary's virtues serve as a timeless example for believers, inspiring them to cultivate qualities of purity, humility, and devotion in their own lives. Her unwavering faith in God's plan, her selfless service to others, and her compassionate heart resonate with individuals seeking to deepen their spiritual journey and live out their faith in practical ways. Mary's virtues offer a blueprint for navigating life's challenges with grace, courage, and unwavering trust in God's providence. Symbolism in religious art and iconography. In religious art and iconography, Mary is often depicted with symbolic imagery that reflects her virtues and attributes. The lily, symbolizing purity and innocence, is a common motif associated with Mary, while the blue mantle represents her role as the Queen of Heaven. The Madonna and Child motif, showcasing Mary cradling the infant Jesus, symbolizes maternal love, protection, and the divine bond between mother and son. These symbols and representations in religious art serve to deepen believers' understanding of Mary's virtues and her enduring significance as a beacon of divine grace and compassion. Mary's universal appeal transcends cultural boundaries, as she is venerated in diverse religious traditions and regions around the world. Exploring the varied representations of Mary in different cultures reveals the richness and depth of her significance as a beloved figure cherished by millions of believers worldwide. And Catholicism. Mary holds a central place of honor as the Mother of God and the Queen of Heaven, with devotion to her expressed through prayers, pilgrimages, and Marian apparitions. In Orthodox Christianity, Mary is revered as the Theotokos, birth-giver of God, and is celebrated with elaborate iconography and liturgical hymns. In Islam, Mary is revered as a paragon of virtue and piety, with her story featured prominently in the Quran and Islamic traditions. Mary is known by a multitude of titles and roles across cultures, reflecting the diverse ways in which she is venerated and understood. From Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico to Our Lady of Lourdes in France, each title carries unique cultural significance and symbolism. In some cultures, Mary is revered as a protector, healer, or intercessor, while in others, she is seen as a symbol of maternal love, compassion, and grace. Numerous festivals and celebrations are dedicated to Mary in countries around the world, showcasing the deep devotion and reverence for the Mother of Jesus. From the Feast of the Assumption in Italy to the Feast of Our Lady of Częstochowa in Poland, these events bring together believers to honor Mary through prayers, processions, and special rituals. The diversity of these celebrations reflects the universal appeal of Mary as a unifying figure of faith and devotion across cultures and traditions. Mary's enduring legacy and profound influence on religious beliefs and practices have left an indelible mark on communities worldwide. Examining the historical and contemporary significance of Mary reveals the depth of devotion and reverence she inspires among believers, as well as the timeless teachings and examples she continues to impart to people of faith. Throughout history, Mary has held a central place in religious communities, serving as a source of comfort, guidance, and intercession for believers in times of joy and sorrow. In contemporary times, her influence remains palpable, with millions of individuals turning to her in prayer, seeking her maternal protection and grace. Mary's presence in religious art, music, and devotional practices continues to shape the spiritual lives of believers across denominations and traditions. Devotion to Mary takes many forms, from the recitation of the Rosary to pilgrimages to Marian shrines and the celebration of feast days dedicated to her honor. Believers around the world offer prayers to Mary, seeking her intercession, guidance, and maternal care in their daily lives. The Hail Mary, Ave Maria, and other prayers dedicated to Mary serve as expressions of love, gratitude, and faith in her role as a compassionate advocate and protector of all who call upon her name. Mary's teachings of faith, humility, and compassion continue to inspire people worldwide, transcending cultural and religious boundaries. Her example of unwavering trust in God, sacrificial love for humanity, and steadfast devotion to her Son Jesus serves as a timeless model for believers seeking to deepen their spiritual journey and live out their faith in practical ways. Mary's legacy of faith and compassion endures as a beacon of hope and grace for all who seek solace, guidance, and divine intervention in their lives. Mary's story and significance as a religious figure encompass a rich tapestry of virtues, cultural importance, and universal appeal that resonate across different faith traditions. As we reflect on the key points of Mary's life, virtues, and impact, we are reminded of the timeless teachings and legacy she imparts to believers worldwide. Mary's life is characterized by purity, humility, and unwavering devotion to God, as seen in her acceptance of the divine plan and her role as the Mother of Jesus. Her cultural importance transcends borders and denominations, with diverse representations and titles reflecting the depth of her significance in religious communities around the world. Mary's story holds universal appeal, touching the hearts of believers across different faith traditions with its themes of faith, compassion, and divine grace. Whether venerated as the Mother of God, the Theotokos, or by other titles, Mary's role as a symbol of maternal love, intercession, and protection resonates with individuals seeking solace, guidance, and spiritual nourishment. As we contemplate Mary's teachings and legacy, we are inspired to emulate her virtues of faith, humility, and compassion in our own spiritual journey. By turning to Mary as a model of grace and devotion, we can draw strength, comfort, and inspiration in navigating life's challenges and deepening our relationship with God. May Mary's enduring legacy continue to shine as a beacon of faith and compassion, guiding believers of all backgrounds on their path toward spiritual growth, love, and divine connection.